Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday to you. Hope everyone's doing well. Rather interesting week this week. We have a new president now, so very interesting to see, how the transition goes. And yeah, we'll just kind of see and take it day by day and see how things go. It's been, with COVID going on and with, with everything that, else is going on in the news. This was, so it's always interesting to see how, the transition goes from one president to another. So yeah, it should be really interesting for us to see how the next 100 days goes. I know they always judge presidents on the first 100 days that they're into. What do they accomplish, and how does the country react in the first 100 days? So it should be really interesting to kind of observe and see how that goes. So well, that being said, something I wanted to do this week is, if you haven't figured this out by now, I'm big on helping us to learn things that we maybe don't think about, don't really, ever consider, don't really, something that we don't really ever take the time to really just read and educate ourselves more than anything. So, weird, kind of a weird question, but how many people do you know that are Jewish? Again, I know kind of a strange question, but I was thinking about it, and I'll get to the point why I asked that in a second. But I was thinking, I know three Jewish people, as far as like actually like friends or anything. I got no, honestly say I don't think I have a single member in my entire family who is Jewish. I think I've got three good friends. Or people that at least I consider acquaintances that are Jewish, and it's weird to say that because the reason why I bring this up is next week on January 27th. It's designated by the United Nations General Assembly as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And this actually started back in 2005 when the UN and its member states, they've held this commemoration ceremony to mark the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, which was, the largest and most, and arguably the most deadly concentration camp. It's to honor the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust and the millions of other victims of Nazism. So, the purpose of International Holocaust Remembrance Day is twofold. It's to serve as a date for official commemoration of the victims of the Nazi regime, and it's also to promote Holocaust education throughout the world. And I know the Holocaust is we all studied it in school. We all really we know about what it is. We know the horrible atrocities that happened for it. But I was reading this article that was talking about with all the different types of things. The different we saw the Capitol riots. How much we saw what white supremacy, and we saw a lot of the things that went on with that. But the article was also talking about one of the most that anti-Semitism is not just in the U.S. but worldwide is on the rise, and it's really scary to think that this is it's something that we don't talk about as much as we probably should about the horrible atrocities of anti-Semitism. So as we were talking about, as I just mentioned, the January 27th next week is the date marks the liberation of Auschwitz. It is meant to honor the victims of Nazism. So, and the same resolution that the United Nations created, it supports the development of educational programs to remember the Holocaust and try to prevent further genocide. And not just genocide of Jewish individuals, but the resolution condemns all forms of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious belief throughout the world. And our country is no different. Throughout our history, we've seen multiple examples of this. But it's, but with Judaism, it's not a massive religion. It's certainly, not nearly as big as Christianity or as big as, any other types of religions in the world. It's not a huge religion, but at the same time, its history is very, very strong, and it's got a very long history of obviously ties to other monotheistic religions such as Christianity and Islam and other ones like that. But what I thought was important to at least mention this is next week on the 27th, I'm going to be sending everybody just a real quick video, and I hope about International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and I really hope everybody gets a chance to watch it. And again, it's a real short video, but it'll really give you some good perspective. And one of my favorite trips that I've ever taken in my life is I got to spend about a week in Washington D.C. Going to all the different sites. I'm a big history buff. I love history, so that was like a kid in a candy store for me. I went to all these great, the Air and Space Museum, the Museum of Natural History. There were so many great museums. And I remember the one museum that I went to that had the largest impact on me that I wasn't expecting is the Holocaust Museum. And just to see the whole story of what the Holocaust was, it's mind blowing. If you ever get a chance to go to DC, it's not exactly, a place maybe that you would automatically think, oh, I've got to visit that. But I'm telling you, it is worth every moment that you're in there. It still has an impact on me of what I remember seeing when I was in there. So again, just watch this video next week if you don't mind. It's a quick video to be able to learn a little bit more about this worldwide day of remembrance that's important for all of us. Finally, in the email that I sent, there's a link from a website called My Jewish Learning. I highly recommend if you just take 5 minutes to go ahead and read that. What's in there is, again, I'm a very devout Catholic, and obviously I could tell you anything you want to know about my religion, but again, not having very many Jewish friends, and nobody in my family is Jewish. We've all heard, about the major Jewish holidays, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, but do we really know what any of those mean? Do we really know, what the beauty of the Jewish religion? So the link will give you it's a real quick read. It took me about 3 or 4 minutes to read about just the major points of Judaism, about the major holidays. So when you see these holidays throughout the calendar, you'll kind of know what Jewish people are celebrating and what the intent is. And the very end of the article is again a mention of International Holocaust Remembrance Day. So, and finally, one of the things that that I was reading about, what can we do, to help honor or celebrate, victims of the Holocaust and what occurred, and it's something really simple. Is next week on the 27th, and again, I'll remind everybody next week, just light a candle in your house. It's real simple. Take 10 seconds to light a candle if you have one, as a remembrance for all of the individuals, not just Jewish, but there was over 6 million Jewish people who were killed in the Holocaust, but 11 million other people were killed by the Nazis and their counterparts during that time in our history. So it's really important to remember not just the beauty of the Jewish religion, but also all those individuals who are no longer with us, and the enduring legacy. Because again, with DEI, our goal is always to help support not just remembrance and observance, but to help us educate ourselves more. So what better way to do it than to just read that quick article or watch the quick video to help educate ourselves more about the Jewish faith. So, well, thanks everyone. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope everyone's doing well, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks everyone.